This morning, I received a text from a friend of mine. Semi-woke, about an 8 on a scale to 10 on the TDS, complaining about the administration and the fact that they were arresting judges now. I had to look this up because obviously I had heard about the New Mexico judge who was harboring a Tren de Aragua gang member in his home, giving him firearms and then smashing up the phone to hide the evidence because apparently this gang member had been distributing photos of decapitated bodies, no doubt, likely part of the handiwork of his gang. The one that makes MS-13 look like they're handing out Girl Scout cookies. This is what I thought he was referencing, but it turns out that another judge in Wisconsin had somebody in her court, a repeat illegal alien who had been deported in 2013, in her court for beating the crap out of his roommate because of loud music. And she, upon hearing that ICE was waiting for him and he was going to be taken to be deported, brought him and his lawyer over to the side and then had them go out the jury room door in an effort to subvert the efforts of ICE to detain him. This is what these people are referencing. And you have politicians from Ruben Gallego to Tammy Baldwin to Ro Khanna to Minnesota Senator Tina Smith, all saying and framing it that this is the Trump administration attacking the judiciary. Not details of the case that I gave you a brief overview of, merely that they are going after judges, that they're arresting judges, once again trying to foment unrest with the NPCs that they have carefully groomed with their narratives and with the repeated exposure to mainstream news, and they want them out there acting up and making it hard for the administration. And you had one Wisconsin state rep who said that we should all be like the judge.
No precedence for taking a judge in this manner, and I want to be really clear that what Judge Dougan apparently did was what all of us should be doing, and that is standing up for folks in our communities who need support right now against the Trump regime more than ever.
Who now the FBI has arrested, who my friend is up in arms about. These people deal with this very low resolution point of view. They're arresting judges. This is true. The second question is, dive into a higher resolution. Why is the Trump administration arresting these judges? These people should serve 20 years in prison for aiding and abetting a criminal, for obstructing justice, for destroying evidence in the case of the cell phone. The judge in New Mexico, gave the Tren de Aragua rifles to hold, and the Tren de Aragua gang was out shooting at a New Mexico shooting range. This is who we are allowing and facilitating to come into our country. I just don't understand how people could be against this other than the media narrative repetitively echoing the statement that Trump administration bad. They're framing it as the Maryland man. Once again, it's the illusory truth effect. The more that you repeat a lie because of its breeds familiarity, the more true it appears. It's the same tactic that Joseph Goebbels and the Nazi propagandists used during World War II. Tell a lie loud enough, long enough, and it becomes the truth. That's what these Democrats are trying to do, and they are really trying to foment unrest, and they're complaining about these judges getting arrested. Why? Because they committed a crime. Is no one above the law?
The President of these United States is not above the law.
You know how they made up laws in New York to allow for 30-year-old sexual misconduct allegations to be brought in front of a jury in order to bankrupt Donald Trump?
I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
This is the New York system of justice, making up rules specifically to go after their nemesis. And today, you want people behaving in a manner that allows criminal, illegal aliens, not just because they're illegal aliens, but people that beat people up, that are gang members, to stay within the nation by framing them as Maryland men. This is the definition of evil. These people are insurrectionists. These aren't people showing up on January 6th with the sincere belief that the election had been mishandled and wanting time for that evidence to be brought forward. And none of the courts were willing to hear the evidence. They said that they didn't have standing. And of course, the leftists are framing it that there was no evidence. No, it's that the evidence was not able to be heard in court for lack of standing. And today, they are trying to frame the Trump administration and Kash Patel's FBI as positively evil for having arrested judges that broke the law. That is why they got arrested. These people want illegals, want criminals to stay within our borders, and will do anything, including risking their careers and jail time, to prevent ICE from deporting them, because ideology trumps is greater than sanity, decency, morality. These people believe that because I'm such a good person, because I'm harboring this evil doer, you don't get to punch somebody and put them in the hospital as the man in Wisconsin did. You don't get to have decapitation photos on your phone that was likely done by your gang. And Trende Aragua, which has created massive amounts of mayhem and discord wherever they go, taking over apartment buildings, for example, in Aurora, Colorado, making life hell for the people there, shootouts, killings, MS-13, the sacrifice of children to Satan. This is what they do. I'm not making this up. And now you have the left side of the aisle protecting these people. It's disgusting. And now they're complaining and framing it once again that the judges are being arrested. And this is a threat to the separation of powers and the rule of law, and Trump becoming an authoritarian dictator. I can't stand these people. They are such liars, so lost mentally, that I want nothing to do with them. How can you live with somebody that wants the rule of law to bend only one way, in their direction? Where, for example, in Minnesota, when you have somebody who seriously vandalizes Tesla cars, the judge lets him off because he had no criminal record and he just has to pay restitution and will face no charges. Meanwhile, and that was $21,000 in damages. Meanwhile, the very next day, she charges somebody who also had no criminal record and had vandalized one car, not a Tesla. The problem was that she would have gotten away with it if she had harmed a Tesla car. Had she keyed that one up and carved a swastika in it, because it would have been a blow against the DA's political opponents. And this is just ideology. This is not one justice system with a blind justice. No, if you're on one side of the aisle, if you agree with them ideologically, you are a good person and deserve the favor of the law. And thus, the prosecutors, the DAs, the judges will do everything they can for you, including destroying evidence, harboring you in their homes, and sending you through a back door when ICE appears to arrest you. And ICE has the right, and this judge is going to jail for a long time, and I say good. But I want you guys to be aware of the way that they are handling it, of the fact that they are framing this as Trump administration gone full authoritarian and destroying rule of law in our great nation, when it's anything but the truth. It's these people that are the true insurrectionists, those who are trying to undermine rule of law in our country. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Peace.